Welcome back to Two Addicts and a Moron, the season-ending number 12.
Is that right? Fuck
Yeah, 12, episode 12 to our American friends here, or our non-Spanish speakers.
Yeah.
Today, I'm going to get a little selfish.
Oh, nice.
We're going to talk a little bit about normies. Before we get to that, do our introductions as always. Sitting in the middle, Joey the Moron.
Jay Klein.
Mike Stewboy, Addict Meth, GHB.
All right.
You know what's funny? When people hear GHB, they're like, "Did you ever date rape anybody?" I'm like, "No, just myself."
Yeah, that you know of. I heard that shit puts you
myself.
out. I mean,
Well, I mean, that's what some people use it for. I personally never did.
Okay.
I was giving it to myself. I was pretty stingy with it.
okay.
I was pretty selfish with it.
Well, I want to get back to that before we get into what we're talking.
Never mind. We're
Yeah,
careful if I say that.
you're like,
Gotta be
you're like, that's
careful
never
about
what I
what I
use
said
it for.
there.
I never use it to date rape people.
Yeah.
Okay. Now,
Disclaimer.
no, that's okay.
That's
You're
fine.
saying you didn't.
No, I never
That's
did.
good. I'm happy about that.
Thank you.
All right. So we have a tradition. Let's get this thing kicked off.
Yes. Let us get centered. Let us get present on this last episode of season 1. Let's do a moment of silence for those that's out there still struggling and suffering, the friends and family members that are struggling and suffering with them, maybe the person in recovery that's struggling right now, and the addict that unfortunately could not make it back. Moment of silence. Thanks.
Thank you. All right. So you were just talking about something, and I think it's an interesting thing to bring up because not a lot of people talk about it. It's not. I've heard about it, back in the day, but GHB.
Yeah.
Why don't we talk about that one? I don't think we've ever.
So
It's not a real common thing.
It's not common. Yeah.
It used to be pretty. So it used to be pretty accessible. I used to work in a refinery before I ever moved here, and they had you could get the chemical form, and it had a big skull and crossbow. A big skull and crossbow.
Yeah. Let's do it. Let's
shit.
eat that.
That's
And,
poison.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I used to get from the refinery, and I used to mix that in when I couldn't find GHB. But yeah, GHB is kind of like, if I was to describe it, it's, I would say, like liquid ecstasy without the roll. Like it's a mixture of when maybe you take ecstasy and you start feeling it, and then when you get a good buzz from drinking, if you put those two together, that's what I would probably say it makes you feel like. But it also puts you, I used to say it'd put me in pimp daddy mode because I will fucking talk to any female on it.
All right.
Yeah. So
And I mean,
it's just a drink. You drink it.
yeah. No other forms that you can get it in.
You can get it in a powder form. I've never done the powder form. I used to always get they used to have this company. There was two companies. There was a super glue remover. It was the company was Helping Hand, but the only ingredient in it was, I don't know how to say the chemical form, but gamma hydroxybutyrolactone, whatever it is, the GHB.
Yeah.
That was the only chemical in it. And you could buy that super glue remover and pour that in orange juice and just drink it. And it had none of the super glue in it. It was like the people that probably put that out knew what they were doing. Mm-hmm. And it took the FDA, is it FDA that pulls shit off the market?
Yeah.
It took them a while to pull that off. You used to be able to find that like at Albertsons, Randall's, Sally's. That was the only ingredient in it.
Dude, that's a wild one because I remember that being pretty prominent when I was younger. And
I used to
that's still out
drive
there.
to Lafayette, Louisiana, and I would start there, and I would drive all the way back and stop at all the Albertsons, Randall's, and Sally's and just buy that shit
Wow.
all the way back. I would Google all of the little shops, stop by and buy. And then you knew when people were starting to catch on because you would go to some of those places and people were going in there and stealing them out of the packages and just leaving the packages. I'm like, fuck, people are starting to catch on.
Damn, dude.
Yeah.
Damn.
It's crazy. And that was normal, you know?
Yeah, I just realized we're 12 episodes deep in your Mike Stew Boy meth GHB.
GHB.
And we've never even addressed the GHB part of things.
You know, I'll tell you when I stopped, I used to sell it. And so I won't tell you how to make it. I probably shouldn't say that. But there's a way that you mix it and then you could sell it. Mm-hmm. And I have a friend, I won't say his name, but I used to mix mine in orange juice bottles and sell them like that as $50 a bottle. It only costs like $4 to make a bottle. So it was a lot of profit. I used to sell those off. And then it got to the point to where the thing about GHB is it doesn't matter how big you are, how small you are, the same amount is going to fuck me up and it will fuck, there's no tolerance to it. Like you can be 400 pounds and the same amount is going to mess you up as it would a 100-pound girl, right? So people were starting to go out on it that I would sell it to, and they would pass out in their cars or on the street or in the clubs, things like that. Well, one of my buddies came to my house after I sold him a bottle. He went out that night. A bottle should last all weekend, right? He went out that night, and then he was in my house the next day trying to buy another bottle. And I was like, well, did you lose yours from last night? He said, oh, you didn't hear what happened to me? I said, no. And he pulls his shirt up, and he's got bruises on his chest from where they had to paddle him back to life.
Oh, my God,
They thought he died on the street, so they were zapping him back. And he was trying to buy another bottle from me.
Fuck.
And that was the day that I stopped selling it. I was like, bro, I'm going to end up killing somebody.
Yeah. Well, you did. They just happened to bring him back to life.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, dude.
So, yeah. Well, thank God. But, yeah, that's when I stopped selling it. I was like, someone's going to die from it. So,
damn.
then I just started being real selfish with it for myself.
All right. Well,
Good times.
glad that's not an issue anymore.
Mike Stew Boy, the largest buyer of super glue remover in the United States.
The things we do.
Yeah.
The things we do.
You know what's crazy? I used to always say, like, some of the smartest people I've ever been around have been addicts.
Yeah.
And people that are watching this that are normies will say, what the? There's no fucking way. Because they figure shit out. Like, they have a lot of time on their hands.
Well, I think the better term, and I mean, you can speak to this too, but like hearing some of y'all's stories, like resourceful. Mm-hmm. Like, you guys are resourceful as fuck in your addiction. Like, the lengths that you would go to I mean, I know we make fun of it, but carpet farming, that's a pretty fucking resourceful thing to, you know, just to go at it. I mean, you guys are some resourceful fucking dudes.
Yeah, I mean, you're gonna do what you gotta do. And one thing about usually, generally speaking, each person that's in active addiction, most of us have a particular hustle, you know,
for sure,
whatever it is.
Yeah.
I really can't say mine. Like, mine was designer sunglasses and perfume and cologne. Now, I try to withhold from saying like too much of that outside of that because like I don't want to make it seem like I'm glamorizing. But I was a pretty damn good booster.
Yeah.
Like, but I don't ever want to make it seem like I'm glamorizing because I could give you a whole story and I don't want to make it seem like that.
No,
but,
I get it. I mean,
let's just say I had a 5-star rating on OfferUp. Real shit.
Were you
No,
gonna?
go ahead. I was going to say he had Craigslist listings when Craigslist was still around.
Dude, I was showing this girl, a friend, and I was showing her this. And I always preface it like, look, I'm not trying to glamorize or brag. Like,
Yeah.
but you want to see the lengths that, and I pull it up and
Damn, dude.
Yeah.
like just item after item. Like, and I had no fear. Like, I had no fear. I would walk into this department store, that high-end department stores, especially during COVID.
That was the best time.
Because it wasn't suspicious to wear a mask.
Yeah.
And I would often do it during, colder elements. I mean, though that didn't stop me if it was a little bit hotter. But, I came bundled up. And I walked out bundled up.
Bundled up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, and, God, I just have to watch what I say because I don't.
Nah, dude, I think we all get the point.
Yeah.
But I think
I'm sorry, go.
well, the point is just, I mean, how resourceful. I mean, I guess you could say like you were using it for evil, and now you guys can apply all of those resources for good, right?
other
like
things,
for
yeah.
other things.
Dude, it'd be so crazy. Like, I also just want to share this real quick, little tidbit. So I had no fear, like when I went into these stores, like I'm walking out with a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
No fear. I'm going in and out of the bathroom like 5 times, loading up. No fear. Just a quick story, and then I'll answer that. So it was in early recovery of this period, and I think I'm like maybe, I don't know, 30 some odd days sober. And one thing I really hate paying for, especially this period, was I hate paying for toiletries. I hate paying for toiletries.
Yeah.
Shampoo, body wash, deodorant, toothbrush, toothpaste. I don't want to pay for it.
Yeah, everybody's got their thing.
So, because it's expensive, dude.
Yeah.
And I like good smelling good stuff. So it's like I got a grocery bill with just in 5 items.
Yeah.
So I went into Walgreens, and I'm fresh into sober living and fresh off a however long bender. And I go into Walgreens, and I'm looking at the price tag, and I'm like, I'm not fucking paying this.
Yeah.
And so,
But I'm having it.
so I grab the shampoo, and I'm looking at it, and then my eyes look up at the little mirrors in Walgreens, and then I'm looking down this aisle, and I'm looking down this aisle, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm scared.
Yeah.
I fucking put that shit so back on the rack, and I ran out of that store.
Yeah.
Because I did, I don't want to go to jail.
Right.
But
Yeah.
hey, in addiction, fuck
Yeah,
it.
it's not even
whatever
a
happens,
thought.
happens. But I'm gonna make it out.
Yeah.
You know something crazy? I haven't thought about this in a long time, but I used to skip scan a lot of stuff. So don't do this at home. But I would get. So I'd go to Walmart, and they have the cups, the plastic cups that are like 50 cents. On the bottom, I would pull off the barcode and stick it on my hand. And then I would scan my hand as I'm pushing stuff that is $50, $40, $30
No.
for 50 cents. And I would scan that all the way through, and I had no fear. It's crazy because I'll give you a great story. So when I got out of rehab, I had no money, right? And I was going to my daughter's field trip. She asked me to go to my field trip. This is being sober. And I went to Walmart, and I was like, I've got to buy stuff from here for this field trip, but I don't have no money. So I'm
Should have
like-
called me, you fucking
Well, here
idiot.
we go. So I'm like, well, old habits die hard, right? Yeah, this will be the last time, I promise. So look, I'm scanning these things, and this is the scaredest I've ever been.
Yeah.
Right? Because in my addiction, I didn't give a shit.
Yeah.
Right? Like I remember getting $300 toys for $50,
Yeah.
right? But I'm scanning like stupid things because I don't have no money, and she needs snacks and stuff for the field trip. So I'm scanning these things, and I got caught. And the lady comes over, and she's like, "Sir, can you bring your stuff and come with us?" And bro, I just froze. So I'm like, I didn't
It's a
know what
90-year-old
I didn't know
lady.
what to do, right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, I don't know what's going on right now. That's all I could say. I don't know what's going on right now. And I just turned around and started running. And she's like, "You don't want your items?" And I'm like, "Fuck no!" And when I walked in, there was a cop there in the front, and I'm just hoping he's still not there because he's gonna catch me.
Yeah.
Like if he gives chase, I'm not gonna keep running.
Yeah.
So I
mean,
for whatever reason, I'm just I don't know what's going on right now, and I just turned around and started fucking running, and that was the last day that I've ever done that, because I was thinking, like, thank God I didn't get arrested, because I wouldn't have showed up to my little girl's field trip.
Yeah.
And that would have, but yeah, that was like, I was like a week out of sobriety. I mean, I was about a week out of rehab. And
you weren't in that good a shape. You definitely weren't running away from anybody.
no, I was about 250 pounds. I wasn't running far. And if that old lady would have given chase, I'd be like, fuck it, you got me.
Yeah, you got me.
But
lady.
I remember getting this field trip, and my daughter's like, "Where's all my snacks?" I was like, "We don't need no snacks. We're good."
Yeah.
But yeah, that was the last time. But,
Phyllis at Walmart held me up.
but I tell you, it's I used to do that, and then I used to change. Like when I didn't have a job, I would go buy clothes, but I would change the tags on them.
Yeah, this is common though.
And then I would bring them out, and then I'd put the tag back on them and bring them back and get a gift card for the original price. Like there's a lot of resources that you figure out
Yeah.
that, like, I would never do that now, but in my addiction, that was just like, this is what we're supposed to do.
Yeah.
It's just normal.
Like, my objective, if I couldn't make my supply last till the morning, my objective was to wake up and make something happen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I'm going to make it happen.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Like, sometimes I'm in shock. Like, I don't even know how I got money. I mean, yeah, I did some fucked up things and wrong things, but like, there'd be times where it's like I felt like God wanted me to use, like, like $20 would just fall out of the fucking. I'm walking on Rumberg, and a $20. I look down on the ground, and I always, if you ever see me looking on the ground, I'm not just because it's not because I'm fucking dumb, or like,
You just never know.
or I got a fucking heavy head or something. No, I'm looking for money.
Yeah.
Like, bro, if I told you how many times I found $20 on the ground, especially in active addiction,
What a blessing.
like, oh my God, it's like Christmas every time.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if that's exclusive to that, but like I remember being taught at a very young age by my dad, love you, Dad, but he's quite resourceful himself, but in a different way. I remember being at like state fairs, like carnivals and shit. And he would be, I'd be little, man. I'd be Kalen's age. And he's like, hey, pay, like we're starting to get, when the lights go off, a lot of these guys are getting drunk and they're just pulling money out and it falls. He's like, so sure as shit, man. I'd have a lot of money, be playing games and shit. It's, so I feel that, like I still go to those like carnivals or Six Flags or whatever with my kids. And I'm like, look on the ground, look on the ground.
Like, I had to have at least $100 a day
Really?
just for drugs.
Oh, wow.
That doesn't include if I needed a hotel, or if I needed to finesse the McDonald's app so I could get a double cheeseburger or something for my only meal that day. I had to have at least $100 a day.
So let me ask you this, because I don't know anything about heroin. So meth, you buy it by the gram, or I did.
And it's a lot cheaper.
It's a lot cheaper. Because,
And people will give meth away.
yeah, I mean, I used to, I was,
People will give that. It's really
when
crazy.
I first started doing meth, a gram was like $100. That was like really high end meth.
Now it's like $30.
I could get an 8-ball for like $50 when it was all said and done.
Right.
But with heroin, do you buy it by the gram, or what? How do you do it?
It varies. I mean, it all depends on.
And I'm asking this for people that don't know, like,
Right. I mean, it really depends on.
because I don't know.
It really depends on who your person is.
Is it? It's expensive.
I mean, yeah,
If
because
it's
like
$100 a day, that's
That's a lot of money, dude.
At minimum, I'm gonna need at least 3 shots.
yeah.
3 shots is $20 a pop, so that's $60.
Okay.
That's just to be content through the day. So, it depends on who you get it from. Like, some people won't do anything less than a gram. Some people won't,
Yeah.
it all depends.
Depends
I mean,
on where you buy it from.
I usually got pretty lucky and, bro, I got $10, dog.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some days it wouldn't be 100. Some days, bro, I got $10 right now,
buying
and I'm gonna
Tito's
give you
only.
8. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm gonna give you 8, and you're gonna call me piss, and then, or I'm gonna tell you, hey man, I got $40, and I'm gonna show up to your house, and I have nothing.
Yeah.
But dog, I need a shot. I just break me off something. I'll be right back. Don't worry.
Yeah.
I gave this dude some money one time to go pick some shit up, and he comes back with my change, and it's like 4 lottery tickets, fucking 3 Xanax, fucking. I'm like I don't even do Xanax. First of all,
Yeah.
it was 4 lottery tickets. When you added them up, like they were already winners, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, what kind of fucking dealer did you go to, bro?
Yeah.
He said he didn't have no change. This is what he had. I'm like, just keep that shit. I don't want that shit. Yeah. You know, something we were talking about today at work that I wanted to mention is because this is how normal this was. So at work, I would always show up late for work. Like we have a morning meeting every morning, and I would always show up 10 or 15 minutes late. So I'd have to try to sneak in so they wouldn't see me, because then you get in trouble.
Yeah.
And so I would always park in the front, a lot of times in the handicap spot, but you can't park in the front. That's only for visitors.
I've heard
Surely can't
stories.
park in the handicap spot, right? So they threatened to tow my car so many times, and I'm like, they're not going to fucking tow it. They finally started towing it. It's $200 every time it gets towed. I got towed 45 times in a year.
That's crazy.
Add that
Insane.
up. That's $9,000 in fucking tow fees.
I get pissed if I even see a tow truck.
I got towed in 40, and that, look, so it got to the point to where they banned me from parking in our parking lot. Like
In
I
the
couldn't
parking
park there.
garage.
Or the parking garage. I couldn't park on our, however many acres that is. I don't know.
It's
fucking 50,
big.
100.
It's big.
I couldn't park there, so I had to park at the hotel in front, and then I would pop my trunk, and I had one of those little scooters. Bro, like this, look, I did not think I had a fucking problem. Like, this was just normal. I would pull this scooter out, and me being an asshole about it, I put a little horn on it, little fucking lights and shit, like real drug addict shit. And I would just scooter on in and fucking get on the elevator and fucking ride my little scooter to my desk. And like
That's crazy.
yeah.
Like it's like the ultimate fuck you. You're not gonna tell me
You're
what
not going
to
to tell
do.
me shit. I
Yeah.
got a scooter, motherfuckers. I was scooter in.
Oh.
So look, I would pull in and I would park in the front and I would run up to get in the meeting. And sometimes I would remember to go move my car and move it back to the hotel so they wouldn't get me. And then sometimes I would forget and then they would get me. So then the tow truck driver started making deals with me. Like, look, if they call me, I'll text you and just pay me $40 every time that happens, and I won't come tow you. And I was like, "Fuck, winning,
Yeah,
no problem."
It's not winning.
I don't like.
It's like
$40 every time I text you. Yeah, so this was the insanity that I went through.
well,
Like
I guess that's what I wanted to get after a little bit is number one, how resourceful you guys were, and now I don't really think you lose that. It just gets applied much differently. I mean, is that
I mean,
fair to say? Because you guys still hustle like I know both of you guys. You guys both still.
see, not everyone. It doesn't translate. You would think it would, but you got to really adopt that mindset to really. I mean, it's either, like I have a philosophy. I'm gonna hustle like I'm about to be dope sick.
yeah,
Yeah.
I apply the same hustle, the same work ethic that I did to get drugs to my life in sobriety, except I don't got to rob, steal, cheat, connive, hurt, manipulate. I don't have to do anything wrong today to still be successful. Like I've shared about, like my plate is full every day. Like I work harder probably in sobriety than I did in addiction.
Yeah, I mean that I know that I see you hustle, so I get that.
yeah. I think you always had a hustler mentality too, whether it
Yeah.
was in your addiction. And
Some people just
some
have.
people don't
just-
have that,
Right.
So, and if they're in addiction, like I've been around some hustlers, some motherfucking dudes that would just figure shit out, or some females that would just figure shit out. But I was also around some lazy motherfuckers too.
Yeah.
That ain't gonna do shit. Like
Yeah.
we don't have no dope. I'm just gonna lay here and fucking just be sick.
Try to sleep it off
Yeah,
or whatever.
sleep it off. And then those people probably don't get out of, when they get out of addiction, they probably don't have that go-getter, because they were never go-getters in addiction.
To begin
Make
with.
sense?
Yeah.
But yeah, there's some go-getters in addiction.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll make you that way. I tell you where you're not gonna go get anybody is in those goddamn Crocs, dude.
Yeah, I normally
Mike
wear some good
is
shoes.
normally wearing some good shoes every day.
Yeah.
You
These are
know,
my
we
girlfriend's
try to put
Crocs,
on
too.
our best. We try to look the best here, and
Right.
here this dude is
Well,
And it's
I don't think
fucking
the camera picks
Crocs.
up on the shoes. So maybe
No,
just
they do. They see them. They do see them.
reminds me of county jail.
These are my girlfriend's Crocs, and I've got some sweaty feet in them.
But here's the thing, also, like, you got to be able to find how to hustle legally.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to say it's easier to hustle illegally, but I mean, it's the same mentality but different method.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, so because I mean, it's I don't want to say it's easy, but it's not. It's easy to fucking go in a store and walk out with $300 worth of stuff and then sell it for $100.
Yeah, especially these days, man. It's getting more and more. It's getting more and more easy. I think after COVID, during COVID,
People just don't fucking.
Well,
care.
during COVID, I know here in Austin, during COVID, they made it to where if I don't know if it was a law or what if it was a city ordinance, but if you ran out of a store, they didn't give chase anymore.
Well, and that's why they started putting security guards on
At the
premises,
doors, yeah.
so they could do it.
Yeah, the workers won't chase you anymore, or I don't know if they will now, but during COVID they weren't
no,
giving chase.
I don't think so.
Sir,
Yeah,
I gotta go, lady.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on right now.
Sir, I need to check your receipt. Not right now, Deborah.
Hey,
Deborah,
I
I
gotta
don't
get high.
have one.
I gotta
Fuck off.
fuck you, Karen.
Fuck off, Debbie.
Bro, I know there's a couple times where I had to pull some Barry Sanders moves in
Yeah.
a fucking Nordstrom's rack. Please do not at me, Nordstrom's rack. I had to Barry Sanders.
The amends are coming soon.
Yeah, no, I already paid it forward.
Did you?
Yeah.
Not to them. I put it back in my community.
Yeah.
You know, there's actually there's an app where you can go to and you can actually pay like Walmart and places like that they used to steal from. You can put like instead of going in there and giving them money, you can actually there's an app, I don't know what it is, but you can pay it through like in your sobriety and you can put like to
Really?
make that amends. Yeah.
I mean,
Someone told me that. I don't-
if anything, right now, department stores, you guys are getting fucking free game.
Yeah.
You know, like you're welcome.
Yeah.
Y'all should pay me.
Here's a good one, guys. So when I was in rehab, we didn't have no money in rehab. Actually, we had money, but you couldn't use it, right?
Yeah.
So they would take us every Friday to the movie theater or bowling or something like that, and we would go to Buc-ee's. We'd go to Buc-ee's.
Yeah.
And they'd give us $7. That was our allowance for Buc-ee's.
get
$7 in
shit for
Buc-ee's
that.
isn't gonna get you
Dude,
shit.
that's like torture.
like you ain't
Like
getting shit. You might
Buc-ee's
get
is
a
like the
Snickers bar in
land
that
of
motherfucker, right?
everything, dude.
So I always wore my big fur jacket that I wear at work, that pimp jacket.
Yeah.
And I would, in rehab, I was still stealing stuff, right, from Buc-ee's. And I just told myself, look, this is okay because when I leave rehab, I'm going to stop by this Buc-ee's and I'm going to pay him. And when I left rehab, when Brody came and picked me up, I told him, hey, we got to stop by Buc-ee's. He's like, for what? I said, I owe him $100. He's like, how the fuck you owe him $100? Because I didn't have enough food money for candy. So I was stealing candy every Friday. So I went in there and I gave the lady $100, and she's like, what are you buying? I was like, no, trust me, I owe this to y'all. And she's like, for what? I was like, and I told her, and she was like, sir, just keep your money. I said, no, ma'am, I have to do that because that's what they just taught me in rehab was the right thing to do. And I wasn't doing the right thing while I was in rehab because I needed fucking Skittles. So yeah, I gave her $100. Thanks, Brody. Appreciate that. Yeah. But you know, I don't actually do that anymore. You know, I haven't changed the price tag in forever. Like it's been like that Walmart trip was the last time.
I'm not gonna lie. I actually, it feels good.
Yeah.
To pay.
Yeah.
It feels good not to steal.
Yeah.
Like I fucking had to pay my car payment today. First off, I ain't paid a car payment since 2009.
Wow.
So this is the second one I've made on this new car I got. Shouts out to Sobriety. And I was like, $600. Fuck, dude. Yes, I'll send it. Matter of fact, you know what I did? It wasn't even due till the 25th, and I paid it today.
Yeah,
I
attaboy.
called him up. I said, hey, Can I pay early?
Yeah.
Well, I guess you can.
Yeah.
Let me go ahead and pull this card out. No, it feels good because like I wasn't, like I said, I've said this before. I wasn't raised to be a thief or, I was raised appropriately.
Yeah, you were sick, man.
I was sick, and all that goes out the window. But yeah, I look forward to paying stuff today. I look forward to, money really means nothing to me, dude. I give it away.
Yeah.
Except when it comes to toiletries.
No, I still buy those. I still get a little pissed off. Like,
Yeah.
I'm at Walgreens. I got to use my mom's fucking Walgreens rewards. Hopefully, she's got like $5 off on there. Then I get a text from her. Did you use my points? Mom, I'm sorry. I had to.
That's good shit.
So, I want to talk. We've touched on it before, but normies, right? Like normies who have friends who are addicts. I still drink relatively regularly. It's nothing that I go get hammered or do anything like that. But in starting to do this podcast and then hanging out at any length for that day, I have felt kind of a responsibility to, when we're hanging out, I'm not going to drink or do anything around you guys. And I'm not weird about it. It's nothing that I'm like, okay, it's just kind of out of respect. Right. And, do you ever have to, coming back out of rehab and getting into sobriety, do you ever have people where maybe you feel it's like, man, you fucking are trying too hard, or maybe they're not trying at all?
What do you mean trying?
Like
to be respectful,
to either drink or, well, I guess just drink. Like I know they wouldn't do drugs in front of you, but like if you guys are at Dave and Buster's,
so if it wouldn't bother me. Like most people that I get around that drink will ask, "Hey, is this going to bother you if I drink?" And it really won't.
Yeah,
it won't. I can go to those places. It's not going to bother me. They teach you in the program that you should be able to go to those places. Like when I go golfing with certain people, I won't say any names, but some of them will smoke.
Yeah.
While we're golfing, and it doesn't bother me. I mean, that was never my thing. Now, if they were gonna smoke meth, I would want you to say, "Hey,
yeah,
I'm not gonna do this around you," because look, I haven't been around meth since I've got out of rehab. Not saying that I would do it. I mean, I know for a fact I wouldn't do it, but I wouldn't want to be around it. I definitely wouldn't want to be. But drinking and weed and that stuff, that doesn't bother me. And I always appreciate when someone says, "Do you mind?"
Yeah.
Even if you don't, like, you don't have to go about that shit because of me.
Well, right? Yeah, and that's what I guess when the respect thing, I know it's respectful to ask, but does it ever seem to be a little awkward, or was it awkward at first when you're coming out of rehab and people kind of maybe walk on eggshells or something? Maybe that's a better term for it, around you to not drink in front of you, or
no?
Do I seem weird when I'm around you guys? Like,
no.
If you drink around me,
just because I got sober doesn't mean the whole world got sober.
Yeah.
I've let go of drugs and alcohol. I've surrendered. I stay spiritually in tune as best I can every day, live in principle as best I can every day, and that's just not my solution anymore. Do I have any friends that currently use heroin, meth, or cocaine that I hang around? No.
Right.
Do I have friends that drink and smoke weed? Absolutely. Have they smoked blunts around me? Absolutely. Smoke, baby.
Smoke away, baby.
Fire it up.
Dude.
Fire that, blaze it up.
Damn, that shit loud. That shit loud. Roll my motherfucking window down at least. Like,
yeah.
But it's levels to it. Like,
yeah.
I know people that are 30 years sober that don't even want to go to a restaurant. They don't even want to be sat by the bar just because they don't want to be around it. And it's totally up to you. And
to each their own.
To each their own. And just make sure you're.
Do you feel like that's healthy for those people? Like that they just can't they cannot go to a restaurant without having some kind of trigger.
I'm not saying it's because of a trigger. I'm just saying they just don't want to be around it.
Okay.
So I don't. So I was never an alcoholic, so I can't speak on them. But if someone was a full blown alcoholic, maybe that's like them being like if I was around meth,
Right.
So
True. Like
I mean,
alcohol,
And
like,
alcohol's got to be so tough, like
Dude.
alcoholism, because
everywhere you go.
everywhere you fucking go,
Like
dude.
if there was billboards with
Like-
big syringes with heroin shooting out, yo, like what the fuck?
if heroin was sponsored by these sports and shit,
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
came across the do meth.
Yeah,
sponsored by Black Tar.
Yeah, you know what's crazy is when I first got sober, I used to. I'm not gonna say judgmental, but I did look at people that were alcoholics and be like, man, their struggle is not nearly as hard as it was for me. But I've changed that thinking because look, if you're addicted to something, you're fucking addicted to something, and if you're able to overcome it, you're able to overcome it. And that was a hard overcome. And if that's a word, I don't know if I said that right, but like alcohol is so normal these days. Like it's everywhere.
Dude,
you can get it on every corner.
Well, you go to fucking Chuck E. Cheese, bro.
Yeah,
Like they're
you
serving
get it
beer at Chuck E.
everywhere,
Cheese.
you know?
You know what I mean? Like,
it's
No way.
Yeah, for
That's
real.
wild.
Yeah.
No, for real, dude. You
That's
go
true.
into Chuck E. Cheese, they got
They
beer
do
taps
pictures
there.
and everything.
I know this because I used to take my kids to Chuck E. Cheese because
lot.
it had beer.
A lot.
That's all the places we're going.
Hey kids, we're going to Chuck E. Cheese.
Yeah. Yay! We got drinks for babies and drinks for daddy. You know, like
Where's your dad at? He's over there in the booth, slumped.
Yeah.
Get fucked up.
He's passed out with the mouse.
Yeah, over there with all the other degraded dads like that are just like, fuck, I'm in Chuck E. Cheese right now.
He's got a number 27 Marlboro cigarette hanging out.
Yeah, so I would think that alcohol has got to be real tough to integrate because, like you said, there's not people walking around outside right now smoking meth.
Well,
There's not people walking around shooting heroin just right out front.
And
know
if
what
you
I
are
mean?
walking around drinking a beer, ain't nobody gonna say nothing to you.
Exactly.
Right? But if you're walking around smoking meth or shooting heroin, people are gonna look at you fucking weird
Yeah,
or say something to you.
cross-eyed.
Yeah, so it's just become so normal.
Yeah.
And, there's on TV, there's so many alcohol sponsors fucking everything these days.
Yeah.
right? I mean, you have, famous people and athletes that are spokesmen for alcohol and this and that. So, yeah, I mean, it's got to be fucking very difficult. And I've been around people that go straight, and I've been around people that relapse and then go back and relapse and go back. And it's got to be fucking very, very difficult.
It's just accessible as shit.
Yeah, it's very
Like,
accessible.
Very, very accessible.
Like
So-
I remember there's been times where like people have offered me a drink and be like, I don't drink. They
Yeah.
go, what? What do you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, no, I don't drink. Why? Well, because I'm going to do heroin after I do that.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to burn this motherfucker to the
Yeah.
ground.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's crazy. It's just it goes. I think it's a cultural thing.
Yeah.
Probably a little political thing, maybe mixed in there with
Yeah,
lobbyists.
dude, there's money.
Because
A lot of money involved.
they stopped advertising cigarettes.
Yeah.
That used to be all over the basketball games. You know,
Yeah.
Winston's and
Yeah. The Winston Cup.
Yeah.
Like for fucking NASCAR. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It
Is
that
would
where
be
it came from?
They were
No, it's just a brand of cigarette, but yeah. Oh yeah, the Winston Cup.
That's where
the
yeah.
Winston
I didn't know
Cup.
shit.
They
Never
were the
thought about
biggest
that.
sponsor for
Really?
fucking NASCAR forever.
It's just which is crazy because like alcohol is probably the most destructive thing. Probably one of the most destructive substances we have. in this
so correct
I
me
think
if
it's
I'm
been proven that it is.
So I've heard that barbiturates and alcohol are the two withdrawals.
No, benzodiazepines.
So there you. So again, morons, right? Like I bet. So
I'll be here to fact check.
yeah, benzo and alcohol. Then
Benzo,
right?
yeah.
So those are the two withdrawals that can actually kill you.
Yeah.
Right? You have to kind of be weaned off of those.
Yeah. There's
And-
medications they can give you, or they have to give you, for both of those.
You don't want to do it cold turkey on either one of them, right?
You want to be in a facility no matter
Yeah.
what. especially for benzos, because that's
What you'll like seize, right? Like
Yeah.
you'll start having seizures and
A
shit.
lot of rehab facilities have that detox in there. The one that I went to didn't. And we had a guy come in there that was a pretty bad alcoholic, and his first 4 days were fucking
yeah,
dog shit.
right.
Like he couldn't get out of bed. He was having night terrors. I didn't even know what a night terror was, but he was having night terrors all night. And yeah, so him and the people that were coming off of heroin or fentanyl, those were the three that had the worst problems in there. You know, when you come off of meth, you're just depressed.
Yeah.
And
You
sleep.
just you sleep and you fucking cry.
Well,
Sleep and fucking cry.
that not trying to undermine your, you getting off of meth, but it seems like if you can sleep that off or kind of sleep away from it, that'd probably be the easiest way to the path of detox.
Yeah.
I mean,
If you can sleep that long.
yeah, well,
If you can sleep that long.
yeah. And then when you're awake, you're just crying and shit.
Yeah, it's very depressing.
Yeah.
It's very depressing.
And is that like the serotonin levels? Do you think like kind of just going back to normal?
So I'm not a doctor, but what I've always heard was your brain produces that chemical automatically.
Right.
And when you're doing meth, it shuts off because the meth is producing it for you.
Right.
It's giving it to you. And when you get off of meth, your brain doesn't start producing it again for like 2 weeks. That's what I've heard. I could be wrong. But because it hasn't done it in so long, like mine hadn't produced in 10 years.
Yeah.
Right? So it's just fucking sitting in the backseat, just chilling. And then all of a sudden it realizes, oh shit, I'm supposed to be producing this for this guy. And it starts producing it for you again. But yeah, you go through a spot where it's just, there's not any. Yeah, it's very depressing.
It's wild shit.
Yeah. When I went to rehab that day, I think I was on my 12th day, and I'd cried 17 times by lunch. That was real shit. Like, that's when Brody was like, I'm putting you in rehab. And I was like, no, I got this. And he's like, dude, you're going to be high tomorrow if you don't go. But yeah, I'd cried
was it that
17
day?
times. I went to rehab the next day, but yeah, he called and got me in rehab that day.
Well,
But I cried 17 times by lunch.
were you at work
Yeah.
that day? So I remember that, man. I walked in and, you can kind of see in the office, and I could just see you fucking bawling, dude. There's a difference between crying a little bit and doing what you were doing.
Yeah.
And I was just like, fuck, dude. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, the bad like, you're my friend. So, like, I wanted to go in there and, and, like, give you a hug or fucking what the
Reach
fuck.
around. Yeah.
Yeah, whatever works. I
Yeah.
would have done it if it would have wiped your tears away, buddy.
Thanks.
Know that I'm
Appreciate
that kind of
I'll
fucking
start
friend.
crying right now.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I do have gentle hands. You know that.
No more. Never mind. I'm not going to say that. Oh, shit.
All right. Well, our producer, old hater back there,
What?
is giving us the finger, telling us to wrap it the fuck up.
Something I never do.
Yeah. And
You don't
so,
wrap up anymore, do you?
of course not.
He's in a relationship, and so are you.
Even when I was in a relationship, I never wrapped up.
Yeah.
That's another topic.
Well, these are things we.
Blowing and going, baby.
That's wild.
Just kidding, baby. I'm just kidding about that.
All right. You're welcome, Des. All right. All right. So episode 12 in the books. Got some big things in the works, and I can't wait. I can't wait to just keep getting this podcast out there, man. I think it's going to be awesome. I think what we're doing here is awesome.
Yeah.
I am so proud of this thing. I guess I didn't realize how, I thought it was going to be fun. That was never going to be a doubt. But responses, things coming in, I didn't realize how proud of this thing that I would be. And yeah, I mean, that's all I can really say about it is just a lot of pride in what we're doing here.
Absolutely.
So, and I will say this, that me being the idiot in the middle, right? This thing doesn't tick without you two. I mean, you guys are up here being incredibly vulnerable and talking about this from perspective of people who've lived it and have lived it like, you know,
Yeah, dude.
through real recent too. I mean, this isn't that long ago.
I've got more honest with things about you guys than I did my own sponsor
yeah.
with the whole world.
So I have a buddy that texted me yesterday. I won't say the name, but he said, "Man,
We get a lot of those from you.
He said, "Man,
Anonymous texts and calls and shit.
if I admitted to some of the shit that you've admitted to, I would lose all my friends and all my family." He said, "You fucking degenerate." And
Yeah.
Then he said, "I love you so much."
Yeah.
So I love you too. No names.
Well, episode 12 in the
names.
books. No names. We're shouting out the nameless today.
We're gonna start bringing on. Should we tell them?
Go ahead, man. If it's
We're gonna start bringing on some guests too.
Oh yeah.
This is we're gonna expand this. We're gonna have some other people come from the program that we know, guys and females. For our female listeners, we will have some real woman talking here.
and
Some-
ladies, I'm sorry about us being just a big giant sausage fest in here and not fucking giving a perspective of a female, which is going to be needed.
It's gonna be great.
And I can't wait to do that. And like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. We're on all the formats now: Spotify, Apple, all of it. Go hit all the buttons and all of the things and all of the places.
comment.
Drop us
And
some comments.
drop some comments. Like, pick up the comments, guys. We really enjoy those. We really enjoy interacting with you. So, with that being said, 2 addicts and a moron, over and out.
Deuces.